Good evening. Welcome to Risk Neutral Trading. This is a short stream for the Asian ORB opening range breakout trade. I'm just doing some homework to see if there's any interesting opportunities around these ETH opening sessions, and I didn't find anything much in Globex with my instruments. I trade the ES, MES, or NQ, but I didn't trade the NQ, so that could be what it is. But anyway, this is my an extension of my virtual trading journal, which runs all day from the RTH session. Just concluded at 1500. It goes from 8 o'clock in the morning till 1500. The idea here is that everything that is visible on my two primary trading monitors here, Bookmap and IRT, are captured in the video, and then my voiceover provides what I was thinking at the moment, so it completes the recording, completes the journal. I only trade live. I only trade real time. I only trade on the stream. Never a playback, a replay, or anything else. Always just live here on Bookmap. When I'm doing system development, back testing, and forward testing on IRT, for example, this system or this one, they will back test obviously within IRT, and on forward testing, that's within the simulated environment of IRT. Both Bookmap and IRT are being powered by the same Rhythmic data, live data feed. But I'm obviously not going to be doing experiments or trying to develop something and having it trade real money. That's stupid. even if you say that fast, that's stupid. So there we are. Having said that, then, there's no intention of financial or trade advice. I'm not licensed to do that, and I don't intend to, but this is my virtual trading journal, and I share it openly for transparency and accountability. And the idea here is that perhaps it could be interesting, entertaining, whatever. And it captures my trading journal. I mean, what good would a trading journal be if I didn't trade? Not very good. Huh? Earlier this afternoon, in this just closed RTH session, was a by the numbers data-driven trade for 62 ticks. That was pleasant. So, yeah, we've just opened the Asia session now. This is the first plot. I always put this blue line on the first plot of each, or first plot of each session. You can see here that they go back different sessions. And I do that because as long as I can keep this blue line on the left, glance over here and see it to my left, and I know that right here is the inside market, live market now, I know that I have the complete context in view. So there's not much question in my mind what's going on so far with this ETH context. We're trading up. Now, very likely that Asia might turn it around, but at least that's what we have now. And I'm going to put just for my own record here, I mean for the temporary, for the stream, I'm going to put the Asia open at 1900 right there. That's about the first print. I'm going to also change these references that push across from my IRT to Bookmap, and I'm going to do that right over here. Boom. 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 Okay, now here we are at the high and the low, and pretty soon these percentages will start to push, and you'll be able to see them miraculously appear over here in Bookmap. Magic, as if by magic. as if by magic. So it looks to me like the first level that's been formed so far was the low, but I think we're about ready to take that out, which would mean the high would be then first formed. That's important for the data application I'm using to analyze, come up with probabilities here. So, and these are just real simple. This is the orb high, the orb low, and each one of these is 25% of the orb range, and it they update dynamically, so that's no problem. And here we are. You see what I said about reversing? Now the orb high has been put in first. The orb low is followed so far. We have a whole hour here, so we're 55 minutes now, I guess. So that's where we are. There we go. I have no, divine hopes that I'm going to be doing any trading tonight. I'm going to be doing some back testing and some stuff while we're at it here, and then I'll probably have something to eat in a little while. But I am going to. I don't know if this will continue on from tonight because it's not very interesting. And the point was to discover whether there was any interesting trade opportunities. So there you go. But my commitment is to never take a trade off the stream. So if I see an opportunity while I'm doing this, well, I need to be able to trade that opportunity. So that's why there's a stream, and I'm wondering why this disappeared over here now. Oh. God damn. Why does this do that? Well, it's so annoying. Bookmap is IRT has become really annoying lately. What is all of this crap here? Well, let's do this again. Ridiculous. This thing is still having trouble with these levels here from the looks of it. And that is really annoying. This IRT is really doing some weird shit. Look at this noise. Well, I got news for you. I can show you what I can do to you, Mr. IRT. Watch this. Damn. Well, this might cut the stream a lot shorter than it was a minute ago. Stupid. Stupid velupid. Let's try this again. Now it's going to do the admin thing, so stand by. And there we go. We've now put in a new high for this session. So the low is now the low and the high. And the high. Well, maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it's going to play nice now. I don't know. We'll see. This thing has been giving me a lot of trouble lately. Just really weird, random stuff. Okay, so maybe it's gonna play nice now. Who knows? Who actually knows? We have everything going apparently okay over here now, again, finally. So we've put in the low first, and now we've put in a new high. That's important for the data tool I'm using, which is Edgeful. Now, what I started out with and what I typically lean on for everything is, hey Panda, IRT, where I can create the system, I can back test it, I can forward test it, and there's no problem with that. Very accurate, very in-depth reporting, you know, Saltino, Sharp ratio, everything else. Similarly here and here, again, all of this back testing and forward testing is done within the simulated environment. But it takes me forever. I'm not a young code warrior. I'm an old cowboy from Montana, you know, and that's literally the truth. So for me to figure all this out was, excuse me, was a lot of work. More importantly, time consuming, and I want to be trading vetted, structurally, you know, statistically verified setups that have a positive edge or expectancy. That's the way I believe to approach trading. And so what I'm trying to do now to save myself time is lean on Edgeful here. And so, little break with the cat there, sorry. So what I'm doing is, I'm using Edgeful now. This is the session So I've already got this kind of set up in advance, right? The MES, looking back 5 years, that might be a little much. Maybe we should just go back one and see how the data holds up. The problem is when you have a small, you want to make sure you have enough occurrences to justify something, to justify the data. Otherwise, you're just looking at random distribution, and that's a bad thing. The reason I pointed out that which level was formed first, and we're trading Wednesday now, not Tuesday. Okay. The reason I wanted to point out which level forms first is based on the next report, which looks at, guess what? Which level forms first. And it gives statistics for the likely first break or low, of the high or the low based on which level was formed first, and then some specific filtering down here. And we got to do the specific filtering down here. Got to get this to Wednesday. We won't have the ending zone yet, nor will we have the IB size. So there we go. And then this can be visualized because if you have a subscription to Edgeful, you get all of these indicators that they have created for part of your subscription. And I've only used a couple of them. I use the IB indicator. I use the session indicator. And this code here is a thing I wrote over, an algorithm to try to trade some of this stuff for backtesting purposes. So what we have going on now is this was the Asia. Here we are for Asia's Tuesday, and there is so far we've got 6.5 points in this range, which is too narrow to trade. There's not enough meat on the bone. That's a point. It's basically a point between each one of these zones, and that's ridiculous. So we'll just keep going along like this and see how it warms up. And if it doesn't, well, it didn't. What can you do? Had the trade earlier today, so that's okay. And that's typically when I'm really focused. Boy, I got something weird in my throat. Sorry. I'm looking around for more trading opportunities. And basically, I would really like to find an instrument or a session with the limited amount of reaction or input from this craziness that's going on over here right now with the tweets and the, all that bluster. I'm tired of it. And I don't care about it. So it doesn't mean anything to me other than just make me mad. And I'm thinking, well, what is this stupid crap? So I had never used TradingView before. It's pretty slick. I mean, you can scroll in and out and see all kinds of things. And like, look at this. That was the CPI, and here is a Trump bump, and here's a Trump dump, and it's just I'm tired of that. That's never been the case, and I've been trading since '99. That has never been a thing where there was a continual barrage of input from the executive or the administration, basically, and certainly never where most of the where it's all questionable if it's even true or not. That's pretty incredible, That's really incredible to me. He's going to, and I guess Thursday night they're going to try to. They're pushing towards the this midterm election. Trying to circumvent it. I guess from what I hear. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Who really knows? So we put in the low first. They'll have the high going on up here, but we're only 6.5 handles wide. So if they keep this up, this is going to be a short stream. Well, we pushed it out a quarter. We pushed it out a tick. That's not exactly anything to write home about, is it? There are two problems with this. The edgeful data that I use, I have set up for a session that is 2 hours long, right? But the Asia session actually goes till 4 in the morning. And very often, nothing happens until way, way, way late. Like, here was the orb last night, and finally it broke at 9:30. That's not so bad. Here we go. This one never broke until like 4 in the morning, or 1 in the morning or something. So I'm not going to be here for that period of time. That's another reason I'm thinking that this is kind of a wasted effort, because it's not quick enough. What the orb now, the probabilities that I'm generating with edgeful, I believe I'm doing this correctly, because I've created the session that is short till basically from, well, here to here to 9. This is the only session I'm watching, and that the data should be pulling to, I hope, because I don't care about some, when the orb low was taken out at 4 in the morning. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. So let's see what we got. This big bump here is kind of interesting. Notice that we're right exactly at that high, the Trump bump high right there. This is the CPI, and PPI is tomorrow, so there's another big one coming. And we've already passed the 9:30 mark, so I mean the 1930, sorry. So 2000 at 8 o'clock is when this orb sets. Hmm. Now remember that all they have to do is bring this low down here, and then the whole data flips because high will have been put in first. So it's not a big deal. It's just that's something to note. There we go. So now that's the situation. We've now put we've now extended the low here, the orb low, and so the high was put in first. That'll change that data around, and it's widened it out a bit, but it's still only 2 points per zone, which is ridiculous. There's not enough meat on the bone there. What's happened over here now is, was I not on this one? I hope I was. Yeah, what's happening over here now is we're on this one where the IB high was formed first. So pretty close, almost a toss-up here, huh? 35% we break the low, 29% we break the high first. We haven't got our zone in or our IB size, but still, it's not very, that's not something to stay awake for, I don't think. And who knows, it may fall out of bed and come down here and price check aisle 3 and, you know, have a 30 handle 30 handle opening range. Who knows? That's something we don't ever know. So far, we're 9 points wide up here. Let's see if that checks out with trading. Oh, look at there. So 4 into 9, that's about 2 1/4, isn't it? So that's 2 points and a tick here, or 9 ticks each. That ain't enough. Well, if it pulls back to the 50 for a short, and you could get 2 out of it, okay, no, that isn't enough. That's only 5 points. Never mind. Never mind. I'm really risk conscious, and I think we all need to be, especially in these off time zones. I'm really trying to find a different instrument or something. Maybe bonds. Anybody comes through here and knows about trading bonds, let me know. Still have 20 minutes to go. Nah, can't get it below 100, never mind. And I have the minimum cut off at 100, so I can't get lower than that. It's just liquidity. And it's lifted off already. Here's the 97s. It's 99. Just one more, and we have a line there at 100. I think they're coming down here to the 90 level, is what I think. That's the close. Well, now we've got 12 points wide, so we got 3 points per tick per zone. Needs to get bigger, more than that. We need to have, especially in this lighter trading volume, we need to have more than 6 ticks profit. If it runs past, great, but typically the target is the zone again, the ORB low when it pulls back. So need to have more than 6 ticks there. 6 points. 6 points, I'm sorry. That's 24 ticks. That's just T1. If you got exactly on the 50, T1 would be exactly on the low. So by the not using percentages, but using the multi-brackets, wherever that went, by using the multi-bracket here. Why didn't that turn on? What happened to that? Oh, because it's not Sim. Stupid. And I didn't turn on the multi-trading. Okay, I better do that. I wasn't all ready here. I was all busy not being prepared. And better make sure I got everything else squared around here. Nope. Okay. And multi-brackets, okay. All right. I can definitely not use the hedging trade management in the evenings because there's no stop and there's no OCO. So the hedge replaces the stop. It's very definitely there and at the level, but it replaces the stop, meaning that there's no OCO. It's got to be, you got to manage out of it and proactively. So got to use the multi brackets. So here we stand, huh? I don't think I'll do these anymore. These Globex type streams. I think because this is the time I did my homework, back testing and stuff like that, and I think I found out all I need to know here. So there we go. And I've only taken, out of all the 5 weeks, I think I've only taken 2 trades, 1 winner, 1 loser. That was not anything to write home about. Ten minutes to the orb. $12 points. The minute the orb is set, we'll be able to define the closing zone and the IB size and input those two. They go here and here. Now remember now that we've flipped ourselves, so we're looking at the IB high being formed first. So we got 3 points a tick zone. If we do break out and pull back to the 50, we're looking at 6 points to the first target, which is, I mean, it's not, anything to sneeze at. Points, not ticks. If it were exactly entered here with the multi-bracket we have on now, T1 would be at the orb low, and then T2 would be another extension. So they've got 5 minutes here. If they turn, if they turn around and take the damn thing out the top, it's going to change the data again. But that's perfectly fine if it's within the orb zone. Afterwards, of course, that's nada más. And I kind of doubt it. I think they're going to fluff around like this, and they kind of do that. So maybe some more movement later, but they're going to do it without me. They're going to try to do it too. Sure as the world. Look at that. They got a minute left. Jesus. This happened last night too. And what's going to happen here if they close it up here is it throws that ending zone way, way, way out of whack. Because the way it works is the ending zone is the closing price of the last candle within the orb. So the typical way you assign the percentages are opposite the first form. 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. So this thing closes up here. then that's gonna be a 0 to 75 to 100 orb ending zone. And we're 1.58. That won't change. So, yeah, that's pretty weird. Same thing happened last night, if I'm not mistaken. There we are. So it is in the 75 to 100. So we're going to jump over here on the right window. Yes, I am. Amazing. And I'm going to change this to, one. Change this to 75 to 100. And the thing over here was 2. Wait a minute. Less than 2, I think, wasn't it? That just wipes out a whole lot of data. A whole lot of rosy. So now there's a 46% probability that we're going to take the IB high. There's a 14% probability that we're going to break the low. And look at what we're doing. And we've only got a 12-point IB. And it's 1.5. Yeah, so it's less than 2. Nothing there for me. This is, and of course, this is just the end of the set of the orb. There's another, well, in theory, this goes on until 4 in the morning, or till London comes on. But I have it shutting off at 9, which is another hour. Just for my own purposes here, but I'm not interested in this trade. We're not going to get any more than we've already got. So we got 3 points between each one of these. If we break, and we don't have any statistics that is meaningful. Well, we didn't form the IB low first, so this is off the table. We formed this one, and because of this high ending zone, these are nothing. Wednesday, what? Yeah, everything's right. I'm off of this. Thank you very much. I'll try to figure something else out to do here this evening. This is BS. So that's the stream pretty much for me as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. Because of the reasons I just pointed out. And just in case I end up falling in a hole or something here, the kind of the wrap up sort of, be on the alert for tomorrow because we have the PPI right there. And the core PPI, those are major reports. This is a major report. Earnings is firing up, but it isn't getting off to a very big start yet. So that's not a crisis. Obviously, this geopolitical thing is going to be a real zoo and a half. And somewhere around here, Trump is putting on this. Yeah, here you go. This big. Trump speaks on the 2020 election. Okay. That's going to be 16th. Interesting that interesting. That'll be, I'm sure that'll be a fact fest. Oh my goodness, God. Pretty crazy. He's still fighting a 2020 election battle. And the interesting thing about that is, if anybody cares, it was his administration. There was no problem with the Obama administration. There was no problem in the Bush administration. There was no problem with the Biden administration and the elections. He is contesting voter problems in the election he was president and his administration was running it. I hope everybody thinks about that. It's pretty strange. And of course, when he gets elected, there's never any problem with the election. It's, this last go round was perfect. I really don't get it. Well, I do get it. I get exactly what they're trying to do, but it's really weird that they're getting away with it. I think is the part that I find shocking. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to see what Dan wants for dinner, and I'm not going to be doing anything here. And this could go on, as it has often, into the wee hours without breaking either one of the IBs. Now, as narrow as this orb is, I would suppose it's going to get broken relatively soon. But we don't know. And this shuts off again. I don't know how that happens. Huh. Oh, I'm losing a little bit of everything, I guess. So there we are. That's pretty much it for me. I'll let it run out till 9 or something. It's just for the purposes of the stream, but it's yeah, maybe not. I might just delete the stream because there's nothing to pay attention to here, but anyway. Yeah, I could have been doing something, I think, more constructive here. And that's what I'm going to do. These are the kind of times also that you got to be real careful about your monkey boy and you know, which is my euphemism for the psychological parts we have in our wiring, like FOMO and revenge trading and all that kind of crap, chasing. You'll start seeing patterns and seeing trades, even though they're not there. You know what I mean? It doesn't, and you start justifying or rationalizing them. That's something you have to be really careful about. I need to be my methodology is to be really aware of my state. And if I feel FOMO or if I feel like I'm, starting to think about something, I just make sure that I recognize that and I don't act on it. That's the way I deal with it. I invite Monkey Boy out in the backyard, and shut the door on him. And that's about it. I think that probably the reason I got picked up the idea of doing these orb trades, because I'm so sick and tired of the, this geopolitical tweet madness that goes on in the daytime. And it's terrible risk, from a risk management point of view. That's all I'm talking about, trading and risk management, no political commentary at all. But as traders today, our primary, fundamental, basic, supreme goal is to preserve our account. And in order to do that, the fundamental way you do is risk management. So when you have, that's why I like traditional, economic reports, numbers, PPI, CPI, non-farm payroll, all that stuff. You know it's coming. You can plan for it. You can mitigate that risk. But when some bird brain drops out of the sky with some random crap that moves the market 25 or 50 points, it turns out to not be true, on top of everything else. And just like a whim or a, temper tantrum or whatever it might be, however you want to think about it, it's frustrates me. It's like, son of a gun, grow up, dude. Crazy. So I'm looking for an alternate way. That's what I was looking for these orbs for, actually. And one of the Edgeful guys trades them, but he trades, he uses SPY or Qs, which is ES or NASDAQ, and typically he trades they trade the NASDAQ, so that's got a lot more movement. You see down here, yeah, I mean, here's a perfect example. Well, there you go. We can do the perfect example right over here. Let's do some perfect over here. Where are we? I don't want stocks to be showing there. There we go. Let's look at the NQ. Well, there we are. Now the NQ, exactly the same everything we just got through looking at. But here's the NQ, 95 handles. 95. Low was formed first. So we're trading up here, and that's much better because the 25%, the ending zone is where it ought to be, and we would expect to take the IB high. And that's, you know, maybe I need to watch those for a while. It's pretty hard for me to do with Bookmap because I don't capture, I'm not subscribed to that, and there's a lot of extra data there. I don't know just how the hell I do that. I used to always have the NQs up, and I've been trying to, you know, relieve the lagging and the I don't forget what they call it in Bookmap when, you know, consolidating or yes, that's the right word. Anyway, when they start having a data problem, this little data ingest, where'd it go? Where's my mouse? This data ingest column right down here. Data ingest subsystem lets you know if they're aggregating data. And it was really choking everything up, so I took them off. But, you know, so let's see now what would happen. Let's just play this out mentally. If it were a, pretend it is the IB, pretend it's a, you know, that we're working this on all of our systems since I'm standing here anyway. If we break the high, then we'd be looking for a pullback and then a, you know, carry on. We can do it real easily with Edgeful over here. We can just change this bad boy right quick like a bunny to MNQ. MNQ isn't found. Why not? Why isn't MNQ found? What the hell are you talking about? MNQ is not found. What is kind of stupid shit is this? Oh, they must limit the, That's pretty weird. I've never seen that happen before. I would just always type in what I wanted and away we go. And I know I've looked at the MNQ before. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a new one. There's one I've never seen before. That's pretty weird. Okay. So do that then. Gonna be stupid about it. Go ahead. That is really weird. Well, we don't have the ending zone is the other way around, so we got to change that out, and we need to change out the 3 and the 32. So okay, let's do that. Let's do this custom boogie over here. 0 to 25. There we go. And this is 3. Okay. So 180% probability we're going to break when the high was formed first, which it is not. So there's a 54% probability we're going to break the IBI, and only a 9% probability we'll break the low because the low was formed first. On the NQ, I am amazed that this thing doesn't have the MNQ. That's pretty weird. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway. So if we come up here and take this out, that will be registered over there, and we will have, then we can start looking at the pullbacks and that other stuff. But here's something that's real important. 95 handles. Each one of these is 25 handles. Is that right? 933, 21, 15. How can that be? 100 divided by 4 is 25 last time I looked. So it's about, I would think, around 20. So that's important to know, because that is wide, opening up the risk tremendously. I'm still amazed that Edgeville doesn't have the MNQ. Huh. That is just weird as hell. Always something, huh? Anyway, assuming that it breaks out, assuming we get retraced, let's see what happens down here. Well, we don't want to do this all days. We don't want to do by any side. IB size, we got to change that. Oh boy, oh boy. So this is not all days. This is Wednesday. And the IB size is, where did you go? And right there. So these would be the retrace ideas. If we break the high, which is a breakout, there you go. 35, 15, and 25. So it's only 35% probability it pulls back. Yeah. Anyway. Well, that was interesting. Is this? No, if this is pulls back to here, this is 50 points. I think that's why this guy, that Edgeville guy, I think that's why he trades the Qs, is because there's such a difference in price. You know? Let's look, see if this works. I don't think it does, because the Qs and the SPY, I think, are not live, is what that little dot thing there means, I think. Yeah, overnight quotes. I have no idea. I never looked at it before. Let's look. Whoa. I don't think we're going to do that. back over there. Okay, we took it out. So we broke the high. Now, what we would be doing is looking for a pullback to the 25 or 50, in between there somewhere, and then get long. I don't have any way to do that. It's not, I'm certainly not going to try to follow along. And you notice that it's not happening on the ES. So there is the breakout. Hey, Banda. Hey, baby. Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. And I'll have to ask him why the hell I don't have the MNQ. Well, yeah. And so here we are. Crazy, huh? Nothing to do for me tonight. Today was a good trade. Let's see if it's... Wait a minute, what day are we on? Where are we here? Yeah. Okay, here we go. See, we gotta turn on the padlock here. We gotta turn on the trade control thingy. and see where the damn trades went. Wow, where'd it go? It's not, maybe it's not showing it properly. This is not, yeah, that was, yeah, of course. I don't know what's going on here. This doesn't make any sense. Well, there's the report at 7:30 or at 9:30. This is when Trump came in and did his magic. Well, I don't see the damn thing. Huh. I'm going to get away from this because I'm spooked about this. Accidentally hitting that column that I don't want to put a trade on by accident tonight. I'm not going to bother. Believe me, trust me. Trust me, there's a trade. And I think I'll nuke this stream here anyway because it's useless. Yeah. And still nothing, remember. We're still fluffing around here in a 12-point range. So this is not any kind of meaningful or interesting situation. And I've been doing this the fifth week now. The market's always interesting, but opportunity is a different thing. that order or that trade was right here. This is the screen snap of it. The date, the time. Entry was 10:45-ish. Interesting how this thing has loaded up all these balls and bullshit. And I don't see the other, I don't see the full session RTH or anything here. Pretty weird. I hesitate to turn this thing on because it's and this is very definitely supposed to record all wait, this is live data. This is not the recording. So this probably doesn't have historical trades in it in the live data. Never mind. Never mind. I've never tried to do that before, to be honest with you. Okay, Mom, she's doing it. Says she knows how. See. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up here in another 4 or 5 minutes. So I am. Yeah, exactly what I'm going to do. See, I don't have any live trades going on. I am got the trade control panel off. Going down the checklist of stupid stuff I don't want to have happen. All right. Okay. Now what are we doing here? Oh, we finally broke them out. Look at there. Finally broke them out. All right, so I'm going to wind this thing up and have a great night. I'm going to get on with some homework here. And remember, 8 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time, pre-market. Got all the software up, risk neutral trading. And then we trade the whole day. So have yourself a fine evening.